Welcome back to the Manor, Entropians. Julien McBain here. We are back with Summer Mayhem, run number 2, that I actually started on Friday's live stream. Of course, go watch the replay. And as always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going over to patreon.com/JulienMcBain if you want to support my work. You will get a copy of the ebook, The Modern Entropian, available immediately. And when I release it, I am currently actively working on it at a rate of about 13 to 1400 words per day. You will get a copy of my new ebook, Personal Finance for Gamers. Hoping to have that done within the next month. So, Mayhem so far has been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing rather well when it comes to, from a loot perspective. My points could be better, but I guess I can't bitch too much. You know, I'll be frank, I'd rather the loot over the points. Because, I mean, you have to get top dog to get the placement token, which would be awesome. Because then that opens up a whole new realm of, you know, list of possibilities of stuff that you can buy. But the only thing on that list that I'm really looking for is the LB50, which I can't even use yet. Loot. So I can be patient, you know. I'm pretty sure by Halloween Mayhem I'll have to participate in rank 4, which is going to be very interesting. I will probably have to finally invest in plates, just because the amount of damage output that the Mullmans will be able to put out at that level, I have the feeling is going to be significantly higher. So, tonight I wanted to actually have more of a focused topic. You know, I do the live streams and I get a lot of interaction with players like that, or viewers like that. And I find that to be amazing. And as I niche my channel down to a couple of core segments, there's something that I really wanted to touch on today. I like to read a lot. I don't have a whole lot of opportunity or time to read, so instead I listen to a lot of audiobooks. There is one book I am going to have to sit down and muckle down and read, and it is a rather extensive one for my job. We're talking, I don't even have a page count on it. They don't number the pages. That's how thick this damn book is. It's like 4 inches thick. I'm not exaggerating. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today is potential. I talk about it a lot in McBain Moments. If you don't watch McBain Moments, go watch McBain Moments. I didn't produce 116 videos for you to not watch them. Okay? Each one's 7 minutes long. Watch one a day. We, as a demographic, are the largest demographic of untapped potential in the world. Why? Because we don't apply ourselves. And I know, it's pretty cliche. Why don't you apply yourself? Why don't you go after the bigger job? Why don't you, no, I just want to sit here and kill mobs and collect loot. Well, guess what? Real life is a thing you need to take care of too. And if you're not taking care of your real life, just how good are you really at the game you're playing? You know? Especially this one. If you're playing Entropia Universe and you don't at least marginally have your shit together, what the hell are you doing? If you can participate in a real cash economy game and do well, you better be doing well in the real world, because you've got all the skills. You have to be better at economics in this game than you have to be in real life. Because this game has a natural tendency toward reducing your income. Which, okay, I guess you could call that taxes, but from a... No, actually, it's a pretty good allegory. It's taxes. That's all it is. If you can do good in this game, you can do good in the real world. You just have to apply yourself in the same way. And I'm not talking about you pick up a sword or a gun and you go shoot mobs that don't exist for loots that don't drop. I mean, you put the same level of effort, you put the same level of energy into your day-to-day that you do into your game. This is something that has eluded me for a long time. I had an epiphany over the course of the last week. I listened to a lot of Grant Cardone, which if you don't know who Grant Cardone is, I strongly recommend you go out and get the audiobook of the 10x rule and listen to it while you play this game. I'm dead serious. Do it while you play this game. You listen to something or watch a podcast while you play it anyway. And those of you who don't are lying to me or to yourself. Okay, so some of us do have nights where we just sit here and veg out and play the game. I get that. But come on. It's Entropia Universe. We all have something else going on while we play Entropia Universe, okay? Or at least the majority of us do, unless we're doing some super high level shit like doing the Warlords Challenge or something like that, or doing a group fight in Hadesheim. That's different. You're fighting at the edge of top level there. But even for Mayhem, it's a competition, but you're hands off for most of it. So listen to the 10x rule while you're playing the game. The audiobook's going to cost you like $15. Okay? And it's, I want to say 15 hours long. Which isn't bad. It'll last you, a week worth of gameplay. So, I had to respond to a message there. So, the point I'm trying to make is, if you can put so much energy into your game, why aren't you putting that much energy into your real life? And I've talked about this before. I did something last week that I never thought I could pull off. Okay, I work in sales. When you work in sales, that usually means you have to make a lot of phone calls. I avoid making phone calls as a general rule. I hate cold calling. I do. I absolutely detest cold calling. Always have, probably always will. But you know what I did? I managed to dial that phone 40 times on Friday. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back. The average salesperson does it 60 to 70. But I realized I'm not going to get to the next level until I push myself to that level. And to do that, I need to pick up the damn phone. And that goes for anyone in any job. And it may not involve picking up a phone and dialing for dollars, as they call it, or smile and dial, or they've got all kinds of funny nicknames for it that everyone kind of nods at. Dialing for dollars, smile and dial. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you call it. I increased my effort. I took the amount of effort, the level of effort that I put into things like Entropia Universe and my YouTube channel, and I applied it to my 9 to 5. Guess what? I got results. It wasn't the results that I hoped for, but it was better results than I've gotten in 2 months. So really what it comes down to is, what effort are you putting into yourself? What effort are you putting into your real life that you can then bring back to the game? Take the effort you put into the game, apply it to all of the aspects of your life that are truly important, and then you can bring that result back to the game. It's a cycle. It's absolutely a cycle. And I think that's the thing that we don't really understand about ourselves on it. The more effort you can put into one thing, the more effort you can put into everything. It takes the same amount of time. It takes the same amount of effort to be good at something than it does to be mediocre. Or same amount of energy, not effort, the same amount of energy. The time's always going to be there. If you got to spend 8 hours at your 9 to 5, you're going to be spending 8 hours at your 9 to 5. But are you spending that just coasting through, or are you spending it growing? You come to Entropia Universe, you play an hour of Entropia Universe, you're burning cash, but you're growing. You're gaining skills, you're gathering loots, you're killing mobs, you're dropping probes in mining, and you're crafting guns and swords and clothes. You're building. Do that shit in your real life, guys. Come on. A human being is nothing but potential. It's all we are. Every second of every day, a small portion, a tiny piece of that potential gets shaved off. That's one potential outcome that may have been shaved away. Instead of just abiding, don't be the Big Lebowski. Don't get into dudism. Don't just abide. Life is what it is, and you'll accept whatever hand life deals you. And for a lot of people, they bitch about it because they don't think they can fix it. Well, guess what? That's what happens when you let life happen to you. I don't let life happen to me. I take responsibility. Doesn't matter if I'm at fault or not. If something happens to me, I'm responsible for it. If something happens to you, you're responsible for it. You have to be willing to take that responsibility. You have to be willing to take that step. Because if you aren't, then all you're going to do is live a mediocre life. Who wants a mediocre life? Now, does it mean you have to, have a mansion or a Rolls or a jet or some bullshit like that? No. The majority of us aren't going to get that far. Doesn't matter. You still have to carve out the best life for you. And the only way you're going to do that is by fucking bothering. Going out there. If you're in sales, make the call. Stop making excuses, put down the coffee, and make 5 dials. If you work in retail, stop making excuses, stop chatting with your friends, and go pull 5 boxes out of the inventory area and restock those shelves. I've done both. I've worked for the largest department store in America. I've worked for the largest grocery chain in America. My family owned a grocery store back in the 90s. 3 generations. I was going to be the 3rd generation to own that store, and the store collapsed because it was a neighborhood market. And neighborhood markets went away with the advent of the gas station convenience store coming to prominence, which was always there, but it wasn't as big as it is now. The gas station, service station all went away. And you know what? That's fine. That's evolution. But I had to learn a different way. And I'm learning now the only thing that's going to get me where I need to go is to increase my efforts. And so, as I noticed results immediately, and that's not common. Usually it takes time for that stuff to build up. I noticed an immediate difference. Results due to effort. And it might be that there is a diminishing return for effort over results. You still want to put the effort forth. Because unless you're in a position to where you can walk away and never worry about yourself and your money again, then you have no business stopping. Okay? I have no business stopping. I have no business reducing my effort. You have no business stopping. You have no business reducing your effort. You can't live life coasting. That's not living. That's surviving. That's existing. You have to grind it out. You can grind it out in here. You can grind it out in any job in the world. Doesn't matter how boring it is. Doesn't matter what you have to do. Doesn't matter how uncomfortable you have to make yourself. And that's just it. You have to make yourself uncomfortable. Everyone is obsessed with comfort. They want to be comfortable. They want to just relax and abide. And it's bullshit. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I had to force myself to get comfortable with calling people I didn't know to sell them a product they probably didn't want. I mean, I'm lucky. The product I sell is something you have to have. Doesn't mean you'll want to pay for it. But at the same time, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's how you're going to move to the next level. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If it scares you, that's what you should be doing. You know, talk to the customer about adding something to whatever you're selling them. Ask them for more information. Ask them a second time if they say no. If you're in a service position where you're just confirming things or... I can't say that because in a lot of places that's really important. If you're in a job where it's strictly service, ramp up the amount of customer, wow your customer. You know, ramp up the enthusiasm. Say, hey, I'm here to get this information to make sure that we have everything that we need to make sure we're serving you the best way possible. Can you please provide me with ... And if they refuse, you know, roll with it. And then you know what you do? You follow up with them. It's not an easy thing to move out of your comfort zone. Trust me, I know. Moved out of my comfort zone a few times. Imposter syndrome is a thing that exists. And I, of all people, suffer from it. But you got to overcome that. You've got to overcome it. You've got to become the best you can be. You owe it to yourself. I said this in Friday's McBain moment, and it's a direct quote from Cardone. Success is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility. It's an ethical thing. You are ethically obligated to be as successful as you can be so you can provide for your family. Provide for yourself. Even if you don't have a family, just provide for yourself. Because you know what? The more successful you get, the more people you can provide for, the more likely you are to be generous to other people. You know, people bitch about how rude, you know, successful people tend to be. No, they value their time more than they value their money. Literally value their time more than they value their money. They might give millions to help out the needy. But their time for them is the thing that's at a premium. You can generate anything. You can manufacture anything except one thing, and that is time. Do you value your time to the rate you should be? You know, the average person probably makes between $10 and $15 an hour. The value of an hour of your time is no less than 50. But you got to earn that 50. You have to value your own time at 50 if you expect to make 50. And to do that, you've got to put the effort in. You have to decide that it's an ethical requirement to push yourself to the next level. Because realistically, what are you doing if you don't? Are you really providing for yourself? Are you providing for your family, your children if you have them? Your spouse if you have one? You're not. You know, I never understood what it meant to be what they call a high performance person until recently. And I grew up with a high performance person and never understood it. And if my old man, specifically in this case I'm talking about my stepfather, although my father is very similar in a lot of ways. If my father had been able to use his ability to put effort forth in a way that would have increased his wealth, my family would be wealthy. You know, and I'm not saying that to rag on him. I couldn't be. The upbringing I had, you know, it was fairly simple. I'm from Vermont. We're a pretty healthy mix of. Well, no, it's not a whole lot of mix. We're pretty redneck up here, and I say that with no shame. I'm probably the most white-collar redneck you'll ever meet, or the most redneck white-collar person you'll ever meet. Northern redneck, not southern redneck. There is a difference. In Vermont, we call them woodchucks. It's a very Vermont-specific version of hillbilly. Work hard, play hard. That's basically the motto. And we work hard. We work 7 days a week. We do our 9 to 5. We take care of our land. Now, today was a lazy day, and I was still out working in 87-degree heat, making sure the lawn was mowed. I considered splitting wood. Almost did. The only reason I didn't is because by the time I went out to do so, there was a thunderstorm brewing. And you don't need to be near a metal splitter when there's lightning crashing. Now, which actually the storm missed us, which is the ironic part, but it was still close enough to where it was like, safety first. But we do. We work our 9 to 5s. We come home, we cook, we clean, we share in the daily chores. Most families do that. Then on the weekend, we work the land. You know, I say mow the lawn, and you're probably thinking of a little suburban lawn that might be a quarter acre. No. No. I live on 22 acres. 3 of which are grass. At least half of that is lawn. We have a field. The field is brush hogged a couple times a year. But it's a solid 3 hours of lawn mowing and weed whacking in 87-degree heat. And I'm not saying that for sympathy. I'm just giving you perspective. For us, that's weekly effort. And you know what? I'd love to pay someone else to do it. We aren't in a position to do so. So we have to put effort forth on that, which actually burns time I could be doing to generate revenue, doing other things. I could pay someone to do that job. I'm not in a position to do that yet. But if you look at it in that perspective, those 3 hours is $150 worth of my time. It's all effort. It's all effort. And the only way you're going to progress, the only way you're going to go further in your life is if you increase the efforts you put in until you're earning the money that your effort is worth. The theoretical value. The actual value is whatever you produce. That's the market. And I mean, you can bitch about the market, you can complain about capitalism, and frankly, you know, too bad. Tough. No system has ever increased. There is no system in history that has increased the quality of life of people better than capitalism. Historically speaking, you can look it up, do all the research. But because of that, it comes with requirements. You have to take responsibility for your own life. You can't expect other people to do it for you. And that means increasing your efforts until you earn that generalized value. And yes, I know, I'm bordering on political here. I might have even crossed the line. I don't give a shit. Get your shit together. No, this is tough love time. So I'm giving you all an assignment. I have 382 subscribers as of this recording. Hopefully my subscribership will grow and not shrink. I do joke about people leaving en masse whenever I do shit like this. I don't care. I want you to commit yourself to watching one McBain moment a day. Global! 70-ish ped? It's probably 69 actually. See what it says. I want you to commit 69 to watching one McBain moment a day. I want you to listen to or read the 10x rule. I think the audiobook is better. I have both the physical copy and the audiobook. I think the audiobook is better because you actually hear it in the author's voice. You get his inflection and he adds shit to it. It's always nice to hear the author's commentary. Including the chapter that he wanted to title Don't Be a Little Bitch. I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why am I not taking responsibility for my life? Or if you are taking responsibility for your life, I want you to redouble your efforts. Set some goals. Figure out how you can measure those goals. And understand that sometimes those goals are going to have to change. Because life comes at you fast and shit that's unexpected comes at you. That doesn't mean you lower the target. That just means you realign and figure out that, okay, this goal isn't necessarily possible anymore. I had something like that come up in the last 2 weeks. You know, the way I teach my students had to dynamically change, and so I had to change the goal on how I teach them. I had to change, we had to abandon a system. And so I had to change the goal. I could no longer measure the goal against the system. I'm still figuring out the details of how to realign that, but it doesn't mean that the effort changes. You keep the same amount of effort, you increase the effort even. You just got to figure out where the new benchmark is, what the new goal is. So you come up with goals, and then you know what you do first? This is your first goal, okay? You go in, you watch a one McBain moment a day. You start reading the books I tell you to read, right? Which I know you aren't, but just work with me here. You should be. You make your bed every day. I'm dead serious. Start every day by making your bed. And you know what? Next weekend, clean your fucking room. When was the last time you dusted? When was the last time you picked up and made sure all the laundry was done? If you are spending time, if the first thing you see when you wake up is a cluttered, dusty mess, your whole day is fucked. I wrote a whole article on this on McBainManor.com. I want you to go read it after this video is over. So you clean your room and you dust it. You make your bed every day. That's how you start your day. You accomplish the first goal of the day. You wake up to a clean room. You go to bed to a clean room. Things look nice. Even if you're not in the greatest of homes, you know, apartments, or, you know, you could live in a trailer house, which there are some nice trailer houses these days, but you could live in an old one. I've lived in some pretty nasty ones in my time. I've lived in some nice ones in my time. But if you live in a cluttered home, especially if your room is cluttered, man, you're setting yourself up to fail. So clean your fucking room. And after you're done that, move on to cleaning the rest of your freaking house. Good thing I'm not monetized. This video would never make it. After that's done, it's time to clean your other room. What do I mean by that? Your noggin, your head, your brain space. We all have those brain wheels that run around. Shit, it's part of my heraldry. Here's your geek moment of the day. Like, super nerd geek moment. I have heraldry. I adopted the heraldry, assumed it, because I live in the United States of America, and you can't register arms in America because they don't do it that way. For me, it's a trademark. The official terminology for my arms is ermine, a snarling wolf's head, argent. So it's a blue wolf's head that's snarling or growling, you know, the open mouth gur face. It's blue on a background of what they call a fur, which is called ermine. It's meant to represent the tail of the ermine, which is a type of weasel. You know what? Google search ermine, click ermine, parentheses, heraldry, click on images. There you go. I'm such a nerd, I have a wax seal for it. You judge me all you want. Don't give a shit. So I got brain weasels. Because there's a tangent for you. Okay, I display my brain weasels in my fucking heraldry. Doesn't matter. Clean out the brain space. Stop telling yourself you can't do it. Stop accepting mediocre. Stop accepting no for an answer from yourself. If you need to do something, do it. If your success is based on dialing a phone, dial the phone. Don't try to weasel your way out of it. Don't go to the coffee pot. You know, don't convince yourself you got to go to the bathroom again. Pick up the phone 5 times and dial the number. You know what? If you're not in sales, just up the amount of enthusiasm to serve. Because you know who's going to notice that? Your boss. And it might take a while. It usually does. And if you're getting frustrated, keep grinding. Because you will eventually make it. And if there's no upward mobility where you are, maybe it's time to consider moving on. I mean, okay, in our current environment, moving on to another job is fucking impossible. But when things open up again, that's when you can start looking, okay? Set yourself up to be in the best possible position. Global 86.32. 2 for 2, folks. You have to be willing to take that step. You have to be willing to keep pushing forward. We can't allow ourselves to accept mediocre anymore. Mediocre is just in the place we are now. Mediocre has the world where it is today. You know, especially millennials. I'm a millennial. I'm really disappointed in my generation. Because we've decided that because of the things that were done to us when we were up and coming, we're just going to accept our lot in life, or we're going to bitch about it instead of fucking doing something about it. And I'm not talking about, you know, tearing down the structures that are around us. No. Learn how to use them to your advantage. That's how you win. Build something out of yourself, damn it. Just because someone else has more than you doesn't mean that they don't deserve it. It means that you haven't earned it. Get off your ass and do something. I'm probably going to lose friends over this video. Sometimes the answer isn't obvious. And I'm not saying that things don't need to evolve or change. But in order to change things, you first have to change yourself. Jordan Peterson says, clean your own room before criticizing the world. If you haven't built anything, if you haven't created anything, if you are not in a position where you can say, look what I have done for myself and my family and my community, who the hell are you on your high horse to say that you know better, or you think better can happen because you say so? You arrogant shit. And this may not apply to you, which is great. But it doesn't mean you don't need to increase your efforts. You can't wallow in self-pity and doubt anymore. You can't afford it. You have to be able to build something out of yourself. You have to be willing to take the steps. And you know what? It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be a fucking grind. It's going to be grindier than Entropia Universe. And I didn't think that was possible, but guess what? Welcome to the grind, folks. Embrace it. Become it. Make it a part of you. Because this is how you become better. You focus on yourself. You improve yourself. If everyone focused on improving themselves, the world would become a better place on its own. Just naturally. Not on its own, but naturally. It would just come with it. You can't improve other people. You can't. I mean, to a certain extent, you can help improve their circumstances, but if you haven't been able to work on yourself to a point, you can't help anyone any more than bringing them up to the point you're at. So, really, what good are you doing if you're not working on yourself too? And first. I mean, they say it's all about number one, and that's, selfish and arrogant, but realistically, nah. If you're not doing things to help yourself, you're not helping anyone else. That's the end of it, folks. It really is. Take consider this. People say that well, here's an easy example. I've got friends who are playing a game, and one of them posted recreational capitalism. Take this. Money cannot buy happiness. And the old cliche is, yeah, but I'd rather be crying in a Mercedes than in a Hyundai. Right? It's not even about that. It's not. It's never been about that. It's not about finding happiness, it's about finding meaning in your life. But you know what? If you're not in a place where money is a concern, you can focus on finding that meaning. And no, money isn't everything. Everyone knows money isn't everything. Who gives a shit? You got to get yourself to a place where you can actually think like that, where you're not worried about paying the bills, where you're not constantly in the overstressed crisis mode. Because if that's where you are, what the fuck good are you going to be to anyone? I don't care what you do in your extracurriculars. You know, we all have money worries. It doesn't matter how rich you are. Everyone worries about money. But if you're in a position to where it's less of a concern, you're not worried about basic survival anymore because you've put the effort forth to not have to, now you can find the meaning that you were looking for. You can put the efforts into helping people that you want to help. And it doesn't matter who you want to help. If you want to help your spouse, you want to help your family, you want to help your community, or maybe you want to help disadvantaged people. You know, I have not been shy about saying how I'm a Freemason. You know, we're in quite possibly the oldest fraternity in the world. We're definitely one of the oldest charitable organizations in the world, and we help many charities. You know, we own and operate the Shriners Hospital. That's right. The Shriners, they're all Freemasons. Every last one of them. I personally am not a Shriner, but I heavily support what they do. The only way I can focus on doing the activities necessary is if my own shit is under control. What good am I doing other people if I can't keep my own shit together? And I'm not perfect. I have days, weeks, and even months where I don't have my shit together. I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. But I understand that I can't expect to help other people if I can't help myself. You can't help other people if you can't help yourself. So it's time to look yourself in the mirror, have the hard talk, and say, okay, it's time to get my head out of my ass and actually put the effort forth to grow myself in a way that would be beneficial not only to myself but to other people. But primarily to myself. Because once I'm beneficial to myself, I can start being beneficial to other people. I've said some harsh things tonight. And if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. I'm actually very surprised if you made it this far because I know a lot of people that probably would have turned me off by now. I might lose subscribers over this video. I might lose friends over this video. Frankly, I don't give a shit. Because what I said tonight needed to be said. The reason I don't give a shit about losing people over this, losing subscribers over this, is because I give a shit about you. I give a shit about my viewers. I give a shit about my friends. And I want to see them succeed. And I understand that I can only succeed if I actually give a shit about myself. And you can only succeed if you give a shit about yourself. So go out there and make something of yourself. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We're on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. And make sure you go consider becoming a member at patreon.com/JulienMcBain. That's all I got, folks. I'm out.